Morning.
Good morning, Amit. So thanks for joining the session. So first of all, do you have any other questions in previous session? Can you please let me know? No questions, right? Thank you. Thanks for feedback. So today we are going to talk about BitBucket. So let's talk about introduction to BitBucket services. Okay, what is meaning of BitBucket and what is the important and we will learn today. It's the most important service in real-time environment. Everybody need to understand this. So first of all, BitBucket is a source code repository. Okay. Source code repository. So source code repository means what? Source code repository means what? If a developer developing a project code, after that they will be stored a code in a specific location. That space we called as, the place we called as, okay, the location we called as a repository. So now this BitBucket service is hosting the source code repository. That means BitBucket will be providing a place to store your source code. Okay. So the repository services will be providing. That means hosting services will be provided. So which company is providing? Atlassian. So BitBucket is a product. BitBucket is a product. The company name is Atlassian. So the Atlassian was developing the one of the product name called BitBucket for managing the source code repository. Okay, fine. So what is another benefit it has? So we can use it as a Git version control system. We can use it as a Git version control system. Okay. What is a Git version control system? That we need to understand first. Okay, that we need to understand first. So guys, let me know, anybody have already a prior experience on Git? Anybody prior experience on Git or
I
GitHub?
use some like sending, not didn't understand proper, but I used how to make sure your work commit, push, and merge. Very simply, a small thing.
Okay, great. So let me give you a small introduction. Okay, the small introduction, the history of Git. Okay. First of all, Git is, okay, Git is a open source distributed version control system. Distributed version control system. That means not only a single person, more than one person they can store the code in a central repository. They can connect each other. They can upload the code and download the code. They can append the code. They can modify the code on the central repository. The particular service we called as Git. So Git is a basically completely open source. It's a free service in the system. Okay, good. Why Git was developed? Why Git was developed? Guys, you know Linux operating system? Hmm? Linux operating system. Who developed the Linux operating system? Who developed the Linux operating system? The
A guy
person
named Linux.
called Linus Torvalds. Okay, Linus Torvalds. He developed the Linux kernel in the year of 2005. Linux kernel was developed by Linus Torvalds in the year of 2005. So, to develop this big Linux kernel, okay, for managing the project, it's very difficult. So during the time, Linus team had decided to managing the Linux kernel in a proper system. They created they created a new version control system is created that is called Git. But even though they're creating the Git for themselves, okay, for the business purpose, Linux kernel development, but it was given in the GNU license, generic public license they provided, so everybody can use it. Anybody can use it. So Git is not only during the time they have created version control system, even other source code management systems also available during the time, Subversion, CVS, Perforce, ClearCase, other solutions are there. Very old popular version control systems are Subversion and CVS. Later on, based on the Git foundation, many services are came into the market to creating the private and public repositories. Private means personal usage, public means anybody can use it in the internet. So, based on that Git, after that there's a two more product was launched in the market. One is a GitHub and GitLabs. GitHub and GitLabs. So now BitBucket also one of the Git version control system. So by using the Git, you can manage the Git commands, you can manage the version control system because the BitBucket was developed based on the Git version control system. I hope everyone is understand. Is it clear? No questions, right? Perfect. So come back in Git version control system. So the Git version control system, it is a developed the features like a user interface, servers, and integration. So based on the Git system only. Okay. So they're not creating as a unique product. Just they created a, a branding product like a BitBucket, similar kind of feature, but with a easy interface they'll be provided. Okay, simple interface they provided for managing the source code. Who was created? Who's created the BitBucket? The person name called Jesper Noyer. Okay, in 2008. See, you understand, right? After 2005, in 2008, within 3 years of time, the BitBucket is developed. So basically, this particular BitBucket, it is under Open DevOps tools category in Atlassian. So Atlassian will follow the Open DevOps category. So few services they'll be providing free and the paid services also. So in this category, even BitBucket also released. It is one of the open source DevOps tool from the Atlassian. Atlassian. And this BitBucket, it is used for CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery, a solution. So that means you can integrate your BitBucket with the CI/CD pipelines. Whatever the code is developed by the developer, you can immediately, we can push the code and we can take the code from the repository and we can deliver the services to the endpoints because of your integration is already doing it. So, and also we can integrate with the Atlassian products. Okay, BitBucket can be integrated with the Atlassian products. One is a Jira, another one is a Trello. It's one of the best built-in Jira and Trello integration with BitBucket. Let me explain what is meaning of Jira. You know, right, guys? There's a software programming management. That's a bug tracking tool. Jira is, you know, right? What is a Trello? It's a Kanban service. It's a kind of dashboards you'll be creating and managing the software work program. Software development program can be managing with the Trello by using the Kanban dashboards. So Jira is a bug tracking tool. Trello is a Kanban services. So we can, it's a, what do you call the easy integrations from the Atlassian in a single browser. We can do all kind of activity very easily. So that's why most of the companies, instead of they're using GitHub, they are going to use of BitBucket Atlassian products. Yes, it's a one-stop solution for version control system, software development, ITSM tool, and Kanban services. Very, very interesting tools, right? All in one place. Instead of taking differently, take a one plan and you can utilize it. So BitBucket is offering unlimited private repositories, unlimited private repositories we can create. Unlimited private repositories we can create and manage in each other. Okay? Unlimited private repositories we can create. Compared to other version control system, they have some limit, but here unlimited private repositories we can create. That's one of the benefit. Any other questions? So BitBucket features and applications. What it is? One is a code review code review system. Code review system. What is meaning of code review system? Whatever the code was developed by developer, and we can managing the code from the BitBucket. So for identifying the mistakes, okay, in the particular code. Second one is Zira integration. So software development tool. And another one is BitBucket is providing BitBucket cloud services and a server-based service also they provided. What is meaning of server-based? You can build your own version control system on your data center, or else you can directly go to atlassian.com, select the BitBucket service, and you can use from the browser with internet access. That is a cloud services. Many people are using cloud services only. Okay, they're not building the setup in the environment. Next, inline discussion. Any specific line you want to modify in the code, okay, that can be possible. And so easily you can track your inline modification changes in your project. BitBucket interface is a very simple and clear. Anybody can easily to understand. Okay. Built-in issue tracker. So that means wherever the mistakes we are doing in the project, we can manage a project, okay, and wherever the issues are finding out, and we can rework on the particular areas and fix those issues with the help of issue tracker. So we don't want to maintain separate tracker for it. So even this is also inbuilt services they provided. And coming to advantages. The advantages is, in case of any repositories available outside from other Git services, we can import the repositories directly. Next, pricing. So BitBucket is cheaper than GitHub services. So compared to a paid services plan in the GitHub, paid services plan in the BitBucket, so BitBucket is 10 times lesser than. It's one of the best process, right? So 10 times. Other services are 10 times is extra. So that's why most of the people are getting attracting in this area. And next, one of the best advantages, you have already GitHub account. Okay. The same GitHub account you can use in BitBucket, and you can authentication, and you can log in and you can manage it. So authentication with the GitHub Okay, GitHub login access. And already we discussed Zero integration. Trello integration. And QMS is provided. Query management system is provided. Query management system is provided. So these are the best benefits in BitBucket. Once you start working, then only you'll get more idea and more comparison between one services to another service. Understood? Any other question?
One quick question about the pricing and the Jira integration about. I mean, sorry, just about the pricing. So if the BitBucket is 10 times less than the GitHub, why is not everybody's gonna jump? Is there any flaws on the BitBucket or any security issues or
Definitely, that's
something
what
like
I
that?
told you. No, last statement is that's one. So when you start using, then only you'll get pros and cons. Okay, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Last statement is that's one. It's a diplomatic statement, right? So
Okay.
even why it's giving the low price, many of the people are going to GitHub only, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You're right. You're right. So yeah, once you start learning Bitbucket and once you start learning GitHub, so then you'll get an idea. Okay. Until
Okay.
unless if you are telling that as some stories, na,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
not
got
able
you.
to taking. So hands-on if you're working, everything is hands-on. Going for everything is hands-on. Okay. I don't have a very, very little 10 to 20% only theoretical concept. Everything is completely practical thing. So if you are practically when you are experienced, then only you will get giving a feedback from our side. Hmm? But my job is if I'm explaining the Git services with the Bitbucket, GitHub, code commit services, GitLab. So these all four services in your company, upcoming company, wherever you're going, so you can easily manage yourself. Right? So I don't want to give any complication in that. So you want to happily, any type of console they provided, you can start working on it. That's my intention in this program. So that's why we have taken 3 months mastering program we are conducting. Understood?
Make perfect sense. Yes.
Right. So next 2 weeks completely, I think almost 1 week continuously, we will be learning only version control systems. Okay, definitely you'll be repeating concepts, but there is no other opportunity to tell that. But consoles are different, regular process is same. But you need a experience, right? Hands-on experience. That's a must. Even though you have a four-wheelers, okay, in your house, maybe Creta or maybe and any other SUV vehicle, like example Kia. And when we are driving, some little bit experience will be changing, right? Seating position, steering position, gear position. Huh? So definitely will be change, right? That experience you need to feel it. Definitely, you once you're learning the driving, you can comfortably you can drive any other cars. But comfortably means what? So first time when you're getting to the car, okay, even though you have a driving, so definitely you will feel little bit uncomfortable. So that's not a good thing. So when you are practicing before going to that, so people will be recognizing your experienced person. Okay. Nowadays we are seeing many of the people are getting moved out from the projects because of silly reasons. I'll tell you one silly reason in my company. Yesterday, one guy was terminated. Okay, because of he was pushed the code wrongly into the master bucket. Because of his mistake, the complete code was merged. So
That's a
I
big
think
mistake.
maybe,
That's not a small mistake.
huh?
That's a big mistake. That's not a small
But
mistake.
it's a small command, but big mistake. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's telling that he's telling that I was in confusing state. I was did that. No, why you're a confusing state? Because of if you have a proper knowledge, if you're trained well, you're not doing that mistake, right? Because of how important the code is in the project. Because of our honey bag, right? Huh? We are bees. Just like it's a GitHub is or maybe whatever the repository is actually honey bag actually. We are a bees. So entire day, wherever you're going, today you're going to rose flower or maybe lily flower or some other flower you're going and we are taking a sweetener and we'll be keep it in there, right? That is our job, right? Maybe one, maybe one bees, maybe they will be going to some poisonous plant and they'll be extracting the poisonous and they'll be injecting into the honey bee, honey bag. So what will happen? The complete honey bag will get polluted. Am I right? Do you accepting, right? The same was he did a small line of code, whatever the test program was, whatever it is created. Unfortunately, he was pushing the code to the master repository, and the complete code was broken, and application was down for almost some hours. Okay, so that was big issue. You know, right? Monday is actually holiday. You know, right? Canada holiday, right? Monday is a Canada holiday. This is some public holiday, actually. So, but unfortunately, the customers are identified. We have round the clock, we worked and we have fixed that issue, our senior engineers, and bring back the application. So, because of continuous integration, continuous delivery, whenever the code is pushing into the master repository, the pipeline will automatically run and the code will be deploying on the servers. That is an automation. This guy was unfortunately did on the Monday. Very bad thing, right? Huh? Maybe if it is doing on Saturday and maybe okay, that's a different story. He did on a Monday, but luckily we have some public holiday in Canada. We luckily escape it from the project. Almost 3 to 4 hours we spend the time and we have modified and we have to bring back the application. And the person was terminated yesterday because he's giving the silly reasons. We would not able to tolerate those kind of people in the project because of it will spoil the entire team effort. So everybody you need to understand these concepts very clearly, very clearly. Okay, so shall we start? Shall we start working on the lab part? Yeah, let's go for lab practice. Before
Sure.
going to practice, any final questions? No questions, right? Thank you. So let's go to the practice. Just give me a couple of minutes. Guys, I'm back. So in the practice session, first, how to create a BitBucket account. Okay. Then next, create a bucket. Create a bucket. So here create a bucket means, okay, a repository. Create a repository. Okay. Create a repository. And once creating the repository, how to clone the repository. pull the repository information, pull repository data to local repository, and fifth is commit the changes. Commit the changes. So these are the scenarios we are going to practice in next 20 to 30 minutes. Is that fine?
Yes.
Good. So first we'll go for how to create a BitBucket account. Go here, google.com. Just type BitBucket and hit enter. Bitbucket.org. So it will be clearly mentioned that it is a Atlassian product. You can create an account. It's a free. You can create like this. And do you want to integrate, add a free services, Zero Software also? You can click next. No credit card is required. And you can create your with your email address. You can log in. Okay. Agree and continue. And you can provide your site name. Anything if you have a company name, maybe if you have a personal name, you can provide it. Maybe my account is already there. Maybe it will not accept it, I think. Maybe otherwise it will be logging automatically with my credentials. So now BitBucket is successfully created. BitBucket account is successfully created. Any other question? No? So this is a main console, a very simple console. We can manage your source code. The next one, create a repository. So click create a repository by clicking this. Okay. If you have any repositories available locally, you can click here and you can import also. Click on create a repository, and the workspace name, you can give any type of name. So previously I already gave the name called DevOps Days. Maybe you can give your any other catchy names and all. Maybe you can company name like that. So now I'm selecting the project name is demo repo, the project name. So any name you can create your wish. Okay. The previous project names, either creating a new project names, you can start it. Right. So guys, this batch is 114. So no projects is here. So I'm taking the by default a demo repo one. Repository name is demo repo 100. I'm giving like this, demo repo 100. This is a repository name I'm creating. Suppose this bucket you want to be, the repositories you want to become is a private repository. By default, will be selected here. If you uncheck this, by default, it will be a public. By default, it will be a public. Okay. So either you want a public repository or private repository, your wish. So right now I'm creating public repository only for practice purpose. There's an option called readme file. Okay. So if you have any customized file, you can push it later. Otherwise, by default, it will create one readme file is a notepad file. You can update the detailed information about the repository. What is the purpose of repository you are creating? What are the information it is available? Everything is there. Okay. So otherwise, you have two options will be there. Yes with the template, yes with the tutorials for beginners. So I'm just giving the template only. So that means a dot readme file will get created. Next, default branch name. These repositories will be created in the particular cloud BitBucket, right? So how can you recognizing this particular repository? So some name is required, main or master, this kind of names. So by default, the name will be a main. If you are mentioning that, that will be fine. Otherwise, by default, it will take. Maybe you want to become as a master, you can give the name as master. Okay. So this is a recommended file, git ignore. So what are the files will be created, we will discuss later. So now create a repository. Advanced options not required now. Create a repository. So now demo repo 100 is created. So this is a complete information about, okay, complete information about this bucket, this repository. Okay. So this is an address for your bucket. If anything want to manage, so go like this, copy this URL. Any other question?
This address of this BitBucket. So as a developer or as a DevOps engineer, this is practically your own repository that you keep everything. And if anybody asks, you just give this link to them. Am I saying it right?
Only for the team members, not for others.
Yeah, definitely not for the regular people who have the access of this, like in our group teams or
mostly
like
it's a
other
private.
groups.
Mostly 99.99% is private only. No public repositories are creating in the project because of it's a confidential information code, right? Yeah.
Right. Right.
Right.
So it's still like only for the team member and other team member who is gonna be collaborate on the
Yeah,
code.
anybody collaborated mode. Okay, going forward, you will get some advanced concept like we will create a team and we will add and we can practice and we can do that. No questions? Kavita, Indra, no questions, right, from your side?
Yeah, Rajesh.
Right. So you successfully created a repository. How to clone your repository? Clone your repository means same type of repository you need to create it. Okay. Same type of repository you need to create. What is the purpose of same repository you need to create? Example, some project is already running. Okay, some project is already running. So in this case, one person is newly joined. Example, Praveen is joined in between the project. So already some important data, everything is available on the demo repo 100. Okay. So how Praveen will start working in middle of the project? So we will give the Git URL. Okay, there's a clone URL will be there. Okay. So this URL will be copied. And this once URL will be, once you're running there in the Git terminals, this particular repository will be downloaded to local system. So that is called cloning. It is a cloning. Understood? Any other questions? No questions, right? So now what we will do, copy this code and we'll keep it in the notepad. Okay. But how to run this? If you want to run, you need a Git application should be installed. Git application should be installed. Okay. So go to a new tab, type Git SCM. This is a website will be there, Git SCM. You can click here. So you can download based on your system. Maybe you have a Windows system, you have a Mac system. Based on that, you can download and install it. Once you download, you need to install step by step. Okay, that's normally step by step installation. I'll show you Git installation on Windows step by step. Like this, we need to download based on your operating system. This type of file will be downloaded to your system. After double click, you'll get this welcome screen and you click yes. I told you, it's a general public license application. It's open source. Next, it's by default installing on the C program files Git. And by default here, next option will be there, but be careful. You need to select this Git bash here and Git a GUI here. These two options should be selected. And now this is a Git will be folder separately created. And if you don't want to create, please select this. So we need to create a separate folder. And you want to integrate the Notepad++ with GitHub, you can please select the default editor tool is Notepad++. Before installing Notepad++, you should install it on your screen. So then this is a default step and this is a recommended option, and use a bundle OpenSSH default option. And this is a default option. Everything is default option. I'll give you the link. You just follow this link and you can submit the request. Okay, once you click finish, so you are successfully installed the Git application. So this is the web link. I can paste here. Follow the website to install Git on Windows step by step. Clear?
Yep.
Just like we are having Notepad++ here as the default editor. Can we set up any other editor like Eclipse also there?
Yeah, we can. Eclipse, we can set up VS Code, we can select. And one more tool also is there. What is the tool name? Nano. So different tools are there. That's not a problem. But later on, you can configure it. Only
Okay.
trusted tools only they will be showing. Like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Quickly, just one quick question. Like, which tool is the most convenient for the DevOps? Like you have used so many different tools, Notepad, VM,
VS Code,
and
Notepad++.
like which one is the best, like for the newcomers and practice and everything all together in one place?
Initially start with the Notepad++. Then slowly we can move to VS Code, Atom. These are the 3 tools I'm going to use in the project.
Good.
Perfect. So guys, we can go to start and find the Git. Sorry. So Git bash and the Git GUI is there. Go to the command line only. It's very important. Once double click, it will open like this. It's a black terminal. You need to practice some basic commands. So what is the basic commands we need to practice first? First, whenever you install a Git, first we need to do the initial configuration. So you have to provide your full name and you have to provide your email address. So that's whenever you are working on it and the complete information will be tracking on your name. Okay. So I already using this application on my system. So mostly it will not taking again. So don't worry. I'll give you one more time. Git space config hyphen global user dot name. If I hit enter, already my name is already updated. Okay. Suppose if you want to change my name, it is changed. So this is my name here. An email address you need to update. User.email. Hit enter. This email address is available. I want to change my email address. Done. I changed it. So this is my email address. So git config. Okay. Git config. Initial git configuration commands. This is one. So you want to know the complete history, the list, okay? Git config hyphen list, okay? You'll get more information about your configuration. This is the configuration I did. See? So everybody please configure like this. and you have to check from this command whether your updates are changed or not. Okay. And clear screen. What's the next step? How to clone the repository. Okay. So clone the repository, very simple. The command is, what are the command I have copied right? This command, I can paste it here. But the location is required. So pwd, present working directory, I'm here. So for practice purpose, I'm going to go to the specific location. Go to practices. So here I'll be open the git bash. Now, what are the commands? That's a git clone command. I'm just copying here and I paste, hit enter. Now it is directly connecting to BitBucket and downloading the data. So whatever the repository demo repo 100 is created, right? It was down, successfully cloned. See, git ignore and readme file. This is a way the file will be, the complete repositories get downloaded. Any other question? No? So we can stop here. So please, everybody, you can start practicing along with me, okay? So that you don't get any kind of mistakes and doubts. So it's a very, very good phase you have to start learning here. Please start creating an account and set up your environment, and we can continue tomorrow. Okay? So tomorrow we will create some small project file and we will be add here and we will do some advanced commands. Right? So before ending the session, anybody have any other questions?
So tomorrow you're gonna practice everything on Git and BitBucket, right?
Yes, we have different scenarios we can practice it. Okay, and the overview of BitBucket console also is required, right? Okay, right. This we will discuss tomorrow. Any questions?
No, Rajesh.
No, thank you very much. So we'll connect tomorrow. Thank you.